when I'm not on stage teaching or I'm not, doing what I do, my human passion is I like to cook. And I like to cook really healthy food, and I have an extraordinary knack for cooking. And so I'm thinking that my next book might actually be part cookbook and might be my spiritual philosophy on cooking and eating. And just to take all of this spiritual expansion and start to really integrate it into our humanness.
Well, that would be an exciting project.
Yeah, and like cooking videos on YouTube of me cooking and showing people how I cook and all my little secret techniques and things I've really developed, because I'm really quite into food. When I travel places, like when I come to the UK to speak in 2020, I have, people have lists, like people want to go to Stonehenge, which I did last time, and all these different things, sacred sites. Let's go to Glastonbury, which I did last time, which is awesome. I have lists of restaurants I want to go to. like take me to the Harrods cafeteria. Right. And let's see if I can stand there without passing out, because that place is incredible. So for me, my way of exploring culture is through food. My way of understanding life is through food. When I was younger, one of the rewards I had was food, of course. And then as an adult, I learned to reward myself with delicious, nutritious food. And so I learned not to cheat myself, but to treat myself. And I think that right now, where the world is on the brink of a massive awakening, I think one of the most interesting ways that we can integrate and embody the wisdom that we know is through how we eat and cook for ourselves. I forgot who said this quote, but it really stuck with me. And that is, when we eat, and most of us eat 1 to 3 times a day, depending on our lifestyles or our circumstances, but every time you eat, you're making a vote. You're voting for the kind of ecology you want. You're voting for the kind of ingredients you want. And so I think it's very powerful to talk about food and to share my cooking joy, because I want to help people cast votes in the direction of the kind of world they want to live in.
Well, I would be very excited to see that.
Thank you.
And I think not only would adults benefit from it, but parents. That would be, to be able to, when you say that you were rewarded, that's what parents often do at the end, and then they go to something probably unsuitable for the children. They love them.
Yeah. Well, and okay. So when I was a child, I was rewarded with food, and I was rewarded with, the early days of video games, right?
Right.
And now today, as and I say this with my heart goes out to parents, because I understand parents are so overworked and they need a little break. And I totally understand that. And there are also parents who are co-parenting with parents that are maybe not as assertive or attentive as other ones. So I totally understand the mixture of experiences. But in today's day and age, we kind of give a child a phone or a tablet. And, and I understand. I would just love for people, when it comes to food, to be more connected. And when it comes to food, I would love for my contribution to the world to be not what you shouldn't have, but what you should have more of in your diet. And again, that's just coming from that self-compassion of, there are plenty of other eating strategies that will talk about, you shouldn't have this, you shouldn't have that. And every week it's a different thing. I just want to say, here's what you should have more of in your diet. Here's what is nourishing to our physical bodies. And here is a way of making these nutritious ingredients incredibly delicious. And here's a way to love yourself, perhaps in a way you didn't know how.
That's a good one.
So you can feel the energy behind that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's alive, and I'm off the road for 2 months, and I have a note section on my phone of recipe ideas that when I get around to it, I'm going to do. So now I'm at home for about another month or so, and I'm going to be testing recipes and just cooking. And for me, being home, the rain in Seattle, cooking all day, wearing my sweats, honest to God, for me, heaven.
Blissful.
Blissful.
Blissful. Well, that sounds great.